Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations. I'm your host, Dom. Today is a first for us. We have the cast and crew of an amazing short that I was able to view over the past, actually, that was 2 weekends ago at the Michelle Film Festival. It was such a cool, lovely surprise in the midst of exploring our grief. So, El Lloron follows Felipe, a professional mourner whose tears are his livelihood. Trained in the sacred art of grief, he helps others release their pain until one unexpected laugh at a funeral leaves him unable to cry at all. What unfolds is surreal, heartfelt, and a darkly funny journey as Felipe seeks to reconnect with his ancestors, his emotions, and the meaning of sorrow itself. Welcome to the stage, the cast and crew of El Lloron.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Thank
Oh
you for
my
having
God.
us.
Thank you for being here. It is such a pleasure to connect and talk to you guys because I was able to see the short in real time and it was so cool, so funny, so witty, and thoroughly enjoyed that moment. Discussed it with my friend that I went with afterwards. So if you guys could take me on the journey behind the brains of El Lloron. Rodrigo.
So it's a real profession, believe it or not. People get hired to cry at funerals in Mexico. It's been going on since forever. And the idea came, I was 12 years old when I saw the first person that cried at a funeral. It was at my grandmother's funeral. My mom was in charge of the whole thing. And I saw this man coming in, sitting down, taking out the obituary and start reading, yelling my grandmother's name, which he never met, right? So it is a real profession. In fact, there's a worldwide competition of llorones. Uh, right now, Mexico is the champion. We beat Uganda in the finals. So it's something that is happening right now all over the world. They say in Mexico, if nobody cries at your funeral, you won't have a safe passage to the next level, right? So I try to mimic all that culture and bring it to a short, make it funny, and kind of talk a little bit about that feeling that we all get at funerals.
Wow. I was a privy to a little aware that this was actually really a thing, but to actually see it and then to hear that you actually experienced this, it's like wild. How old were you when this happened? Like when your grandmother passed?
So the first time that I can recall, I was 12 years old. Yeah, so
Okay.
it was very early in my childhood, and then I went to a couple. My wife's she lives in or her family's from Sonora, Mexico. There's a famous tribe, the Yaquis, and they also have that tradition. That's where it comes that if nobody's crying, you won't you go to hell, something like that. So it's
Oh my.
crazy.
So, for you, why was it important to explore grief and humor in this film together?
So to be honest with you, I did it as an homage to my dad. Those are the type of movies that he loved, and then I always wanted to do something like that to pay tribute to him. When he passed away, he gave me one of his last words was "Go follow your dream, right? Go be a filmmaker." So I took it very to my heart, and I wrote this script thinking of him. And actually, the last monologue or the monologue that Bobby very brilliantly delivers is almost the same as the eulogy that I gave at my dad's funeral. So it's a little bit like I was telling earlier that it's an expensive way to deal with trauma. that's, how, that's how I deal with my problems. I make movies, I write scripts.
Oh my gosh. And Leanne, for you as a producer, what drew you to this script?
Well, Rodrigo and I had met actually in a writing class, and we sort of bonded over a little bit of a dark sense of humor. And so I have to admit, I was the kid who definitely giggled in church, got in trouble all the time. And there was something about this that really spoke to me. I don't come from that culture where you have, but I come from an Irish Catholic family, and I felt like I went to like 25 funerals by the time I was 12. So I feel like there was something about that sort of realness of that moment that I felt like a lot of people could relate to. And also then finding the humor, which, you know, for me was definitely something I wanted to work on. And Rodrigo's so brilliant. And I just wanted the opportunity to work on something with him.
So, as far as this film goes, what was important to you about protecting this film and helping bringing Rodrigo's visions to life?
I think it was actually bringing that vision to life. So, Rodrigo, as you may or may not know, has done a number of other shorts in the past. And in this film, the goal here was really to sort of bring it to sort of the next level of filmmaking. And we were able to get an incredible cast, great crew. But for the cast, this was something where I have a background in production, commercial production, actually. And there's just a lot of paperwork. And so being able to be the person behind the scenes, just dealing with the contracts, dealing with SAG, dealing with, you know, all the paperwork really allowed Rodrigo's brain to focus on the creative output. You know, that in my mind is the best thing a producer can do, is sort of take things off of his plate that are more pedantic and maybe less fun to talk about paperwork, so that he can really focus on performance and casting and putting together the incredible crew, and really taking you know, that sort of less fun part so that he could focus on the creative output.
All righty. Well, Raquel, because we're not going to forget about you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Tell
How
us.
are you this evening?
Listen, I'm taking things one day at a time. This
Right.
is
That's a good motto.
this world. Okay. So for you, kind of give us a little more insight, to a little insight into to your character, her role, and kind of what made you really connect with the character.
Well, I'm here representing my mom, Renee Victor. She played the part of the mother of Felipe,
Yes.
Renee Victor. And she was extremely excited to work with Rodrigo. She felt very passionate. She felt very lucky and fortunate to have met him, and she was very excited to work with him. And we all went to Brownsville, and we had the most incredible experience making this film. And I think it actually all started with Mickey Sumner. Mickey Sumner and my mom worked on Snowpiercer together. And I think as the story goes, my mom had some really cute shoes on, and Mickey said, "Those shoes sure are bitchy." And my mom loved that. And they became friends. And so my mom was thrilled to work with Mickey and Rodrigo. And she also really loved sharing another magical part of the Mexican culture.
It was such a great, just great film all around. You know, it was, I don't know what I was expecting when I walked in and you know, like sat down
Can
and
you
was
hear me?
watching. Yes, we can hear you okay.
I can't hear you now.
Oh
You
no.
there?
So from the viewer perspective, I didn't know what to expect going in, and you go on this journey and you meet Felipe, and you're like, okay, this is really happening. This is a thing. He's going to these different funerals, he's crying, and then he can't cry, and then he goes on this soul searching journey, and insert his dad, because he's like trying to find himself, and you know, meets this other priest, and it's like, you know, your dad actually, though serious, was actually very, very funny. Your dad had this big personality. So did you draw that, like, was that, you said you, Rodrigo, you, this was homage to your, you know, your dad and everything, so did that kind of mirror your dad? Because I could imagine from what I'm told, I have a lot of, friends that are from Mexico being here in Los Angeles. Uh, a lot of people say their dads are kind of like they're stern, but then there's this moment where their dad shows like this different side. Was this like your dad?
Yeah, no, you touch it exactly what it is. So the relationship that I had with him was that it was. I always thought my dad was a serious man that didn't joke or that didn't make noise until at one time I saw him with his friends, they grabbing a beer and making jokes and talking about different stuff. So there's the meaning there. That's also part of what I wrote, and now I see the movie and I learn a little bit about me also. But I wanted to tell you something very important or very that is happening to us. I think my colleagues and obviously Raquel agree with me. This movie has taken another meaning right now because of the of we lost our beloved actress Renee Victor, Raquel's mom, this year. So now it turns into a movie where we remember her completely. I mean, I whatever I wrote and whatever I did to surpass my dad's death, that's gone. That's cured. That happened. The catharsis was done. But now the movie, I see it in another way, in a way where I can remember Renee. She was a beautiful woman, a beautiful woman inside and out, somebody that will always give this a hand to anybody that wanted to make it in this business. And that's something that is rare in this industry, where somebody puts her name out. I'll just give you a brief example. I don't want to take too much time of it, but when she received an award, a big award, from among his peers, there were people like Mr. Olmos and Jimmy Smith and
Mm.
high quality, and they were honoring her, and that was her night, and she was receiving this award. She took the time to acknowledge me, a filmmaker that doesn't have any close resemblance to the background that she had. So that
Mm.
speaks to the love and to caring that she had for a filmmaker, for the movies, for things like that. So when I see the movie like that, I feel sometimes that I was meant to be Renee's movie, to be the movie that honors her. Because if you remember when Bobby's giving the monologue, he's looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
The audience is looking at Renee right now, and when I see that image, it makes me feel. It makes me remember Renee, and what the words that Bobby's saying, even though I wrote them, serve me to cope with the loss of Renee, which is something that we try to do in this movie, try to help people cope with the loss of a loved one.
And that it definitely did. And Rico, I just want to take a pause and say I am so sorry for your loss.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, and watching this film for from your gaze, what how did it feel to see your mom? It's like, was this like her last gift to you, or how did this help you on your journey of grief? I'm sorry, that's
People,
kind of a loaded question. I'm sorry.
it is, and thank you for understanding if I go blank. But
Yeah.
it's not the first time somebody has asked me that, because of course the film has been making big waves amongst film festivals nationwide, and so many people have asked me that. And I think the first time I watched the film after she had passed, I was probably basically just blacked out. And then the next time I saw it, I I just really appreciate the fact that I can always see her, and I know that I feel that she is really proud of this film. And I know that wherever she is right now, she is pushing this little film forward, because it just won't quit. This film has just brought so much awareness to people and hope and community and laughter. And it's great to see her. It's great to have it in the can, you know?
And that it did. Like for me, I've experienced a lot of loss this summer. And as recent as a month ago, I had an uncle suddenly pass away, and to question so many things. And I remember I got laid off, so I was going back and forth to my hometown of St. Louis a lot this summer. And my uncle called me on one of those trips, and I missed the call. And then when I was like, oh, I have to call like my uncle back, I have to call him back. And then by the time I sat down, I called him back, he didn't answer. And something felt final about that. I hung that phone up and said, I don't think I'm ever going to talk to my uncle again.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been killing me for weeks. So to go into that theater, to sit down and to have a hearty laugh, but also to reflect,
Mm-hmm.
brought a wave of peace over, and that, and it's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is what it is going forward. And I have to remember, like the great times that we had together. I can't just sit here and just say, oh, we didn't talk, and like beating myself up for it anymore. And it was a really, it was such a good feel good film too. But also, like I said, it made you take a step back, and now I'm like cherishing this person's memory, because none of us are getting it out of here alive. Let's just be honest, but it's also you. But the key thing is like how you treat people and what people remember about you. And so that's something to also think about moving forward as we put one foot in front of the other in our grief. So, oh my gosh, like,
If I
And
may,
that's
yeah, I think one of the things is everyone grieves differently, and everyone
yeah,
grieves in a way that works for them. And Rodrigo was saying earlier, this was his manner of grief
yeah,
was writing and making this film. And I think there's something wonderful and real about grief can also be funny. Like,
mm-hmm,
there can be levity, there can be sadness and joy both at the same time. And, I think that's one of the reasons why maybe this film just relates to so many people relate to it and really enjoy it, is it's a little thing and then it really sticks with you afterward.
mm-hmm. Because it's literally after I walked out that theater, and we see multiple films in these like sections to the listeners and viewers, but you're stuck. There was other things that I like, and not that they were a blur or not as good, but I really, really connected because I'm the kid. Okay, can I tell you a little bit about me? As an Aquarius, I'm always the person that I might crack the joke a little too early. So, like,
uh-huh.
I had a cousin, and our older cousin passed, and it was her birthday. And she's like, so she texted us in the chat, like, cousin Bobby died. I'm gonna say the name so I can send him this clip. Cousin Bobby died. I said, oh man, and it's your birthday. He knew he could have waited till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Some humor. There has to
yeah,
be some humor.
but my sister yells at me about it. I'm like, what? It's true, but it really, like, I'm glad I was able to give my cousin, a few giggles about that. But you were saying something, Raquel?
Oh, just that, the humor, the Mexican culture is, of course, very, very silly, and I can't imagine seeing it in actual real life like Rodrigo has, but it brings the laughter. It's okay to laugh and find the joy, find the humor in it.
So, with that said, what is something about the process of making this film that most people wouldn't expect?
Um, so to me, where there are two lines, there are two parallel lines when you make this type of movie, which is a very personal project, like I said, I was dealing with
Mhm.
that. I mean, Raquel and Liam can attest that I was weeping the whole time, and I was crying, and I was laughing, and it was a roller coaster of emotions, right? So that could be sometimes a challenge when you are working on a project that is so dear to your heart. But it's also a project that you address it with so much of of elements that we wanted to include, no, the black and white, the costume of the characters. They're stuck a little bit on time, in time. With how we're going to illuminate all of this. What am I going to talk to the actors? The levels of their deepness when they go inside and portray those characters. They're somehow difficult to portray, especially Bobby's, right? Which is I can't imagine his brain at that moment. I saw him at one point doing meditation and something like that. It was like those are the problems that they take to accomplish the character, but it's they're parallel lines. I mean, you're dealing with your own emotions because you wrote this for something, but you also have to take care of the technicality of filming something. So those two things are the ones that dictate how are you going to address. You don't want to lose this side, the sentimental side of it, because that's where you imprinting the what you want the audience to feel, right? And if you feel
Mhm.
it as a director, and if you wanna, you have to find a way that how that translate to the movie. And what you said about your uncle, I'm so sorry for your loss. Uh, but to me, that's the biggest compliment, no, that I was able to give you a little bit of levity, no, that I was able to give you a little bit of laughter, while also dealing with the loss of him, right? And not being able to talk to him anymore, which is, like you said, that is so final, right? There's no negotiation, there's nothing there.
Right.
It's gone. So for me, it's the biggest compliment. I really appreciate this, your words, and that makes me keep going.
Man, it's I don't know. Like this and you guys mentioned it just blowing up on the circuit, like the festival circuit. Was that unexpected for you guys? Because just I'm thinking about how personal it is. Like, and I'm just one person. So is this across the board? You know, Raquel mentioned like everybody is saying, you know, like asking me this particular question. How do I feel? How am I doing? But for you, you know, you guys, Leanne and Rodrigo, is it also like that for you guys where it's just like people sending messages and telling you how they're connecting with the film?
Yeah, Leon, you want to answer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I feel so blessed to be along, you know, and we mentioned earlier our other producer, Mickey Sumner, who was also in said writing class with our dark humor together. And yeah, I mean, look, we really wanted to all work together on something, and this is
Yes.
so great. And to have people really connect to it and appreciate it. And we were able to get such an incredible cast, great crew, people down in the Rio Grande Valley. And look, it's not Hollywood. And it was definitely, it was, you know, but as it turns out, a lot of production comes out of the Rio Grande Valley, as I've discovered. And it's just so great to see people really connected to it. And I think that Rodrigo was mentioning this, but it is down to the makeup and the wardrobe and the extras and their wardrobe and all those little details that give you that sense of timelessness that really helps that story come together and feel yeah, like that could happen. That could be yesterday. This could be 20 years ago. This could be, you know, 10 years from now. That feeling of timelessness. And so I think that's part of the reason why it's just like, you know, people really relate to it.
So was there? Oh, Rodrigo, were you gonna?
No, I was just gonna say real quick. It's incredible. I mean, most of the comments, obviously, we get people that say, "I love your movie. I love the black and white, the camera, blah blah blah, and all of that," which is good and it feels good, right? But the best things are comments like the ones that you made. No, I've gotten. I leave the theater and people approach me and say, "This is a wonderful movie. My dad passed away. I don't know, 6 months ago." Or my mom or my sister. Some people that I remember we showed this movie in Atlanta in the Latino Georgia Latino Film Festival. I unfortunately I couldn't attend to that one, but after our showing, it was I remember it was around 6 p.m. something like that. I started getting a lot of Instagram messages from people that saw
Mm.
the movie over there, and they're always saying, "Look, I just want to thank you because I didn't expect to see this movie and make me remember my mom that passed away 20 years ago, or my brother, or whatever, all the people that lost." And some of them even went to IMDb and left us a good review about the movie. Nothing to do with technical stuff, nothing to do with the art of cinema or directing or whatever. It's more like on the emotion. And I think that's a much better compliment, if you ask me, to all of us, to Leon that produced this movie, to Mickey Sumner that produced the movie, to the actors, to Raquel that was there also filming, helping us. Even though she was just helping her mom, she was helping us with everything. So all of those things, I want people the people that worked in this movie to 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 feel proud of, right? Because not
Yeah.
we're just not delivering a movie, we're just delivering a little bit of hope, and that's the best thing that can happen to somebody like me.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. And I want to stay in this warmth and bubbly feeling that, well, not bubbly, but warmth that we're feeling. Because
Bubbly,
grief,
bubbly, let's say it,
I'm
bubbly.
like bubbly. I was like, grief, is it bubbly? Can't, is it not? That you can
I
drink
like
the
it. I like it.
bubbly? But okay, so when you guys were filming, was there a scene or even on the production set, like there was a moment on set where as you guys are working together that when as everything is coming together, where you guys are like, this moment right here, this is the heart of the film? Anybody, can anyone attest to that, or can
I
everybody? This is for
oh, I
everybody.
mean, I think I'm going to speak for everyone. Bobby Soto, our lead actor who played Felipe, incredible, incredible one take with that speech, and we
Mm.
all just were bawling, trying to be quietly weeping, because we don't want to ruin the take. It was so incredible. The writing was so great. The performance was so great. I mean, and then what I loved was Raquel's mom, Renee Victor, obviously was playing Felipe's mother, and she was in the room across from him, not even on camera at that point, supporting him in his performance. And I don't know, I felt like that was the warm, bubbly moment for me. I don't know. Maybe someone had another one.
That was most definitely an incredible moment for the entire cast and crew, and then also the parade at
Yes.
the end of the film
Yeah.
was just so striking, so breathtaking, and everybody, there was not a dry eye in the house. No.
Yeah, yeah. I think both of them. I think when Bobby gave the monologue, I was weeping. I was just. Uh, I remember our extras cast director Brenda. She was standing right next to me. I just see her face looking at me. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? It meant so much, that scene, those words. But it's also the procession at the end. It was. I don't know. I felt like Orson Welles. I was extra people, and there were little wrinkles that we needed to iron there. I remember Leon even took a costume and say, "Well, we need more people there." And Leon went over there.
I became an extra.
Oh my God.
I became a mourner. Luckily, I always wear black, so I was.
I'm happy to say that I'm the first director that she's been an actress for. But and I
Yes.
remember Renee at that moment when she approached me in that moment, and she was very pleased with the production that we gathered. So look, I gotta tell you, we were not in LA, right? We were not in markets like Atlanta or even Austin, right? Where you can have extras, where you can have people that come and if you need a cherry picker, you can bring it. I mean, we were very limited on the resources. We have a lot of talent in the Valley. We have a lot of people that are making movies. They're making good movies, but we're limited on the equipment that we have and the specific jobs that you need, like the illumination guy or this and that or whatever. All of those things, you're limited with the crew, and with that, with all those resources, that the limited resources that we had, we managed to pull off a scene that it's a little bit complicated because of the amount of extras and the amount of cameras that we have that day. I was shooting with 6 cameras at the same time and a drone flying around. So,
Oh wow.
so that for me was the moment where I really felt like a director, right? Because I had to make sure everything. But to be honest with you, I spent the whole time hugging Mickey because she was made possible, and my DPE and everybody that were there, because I felt like a kid. That's what you dream of someday doing.
And your daddy is looking down and is so proud of you because he told you to make your dreams come true. And look at you now, winning awards. Your film is showing all over the country and hopefully the world, where it will send love and healing to everyone. But my question for you is, how can someone view El Lloron if they, wanted to get access to it?
Sure. So right now we're at the festival circuit.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know more dates or what's coming on with the movie and everything, you can log in to our website. I think it's the easiest one that you can log in, which is el-lloron.com,
Okay.
el-lloron.com. And you'll find all the news, all the festivals that we are scheduled. Today we had a wonderful film festival that sent us a letter that they want our movie. It's in Borrego Springs, which is a wonderful festival that's coming up in January. We have another showing this weekend. I'm actually traveling right now. I'm in Austin.
Okay.
We're showing our movie in Kilgore, Texas, and then on Hico, Texas, around the Dallas areas. For all those that live in the Dallas area, you get 2 opportunities to watch our movie. Then we're going to show it at our city where we filmed it in Brownsville. Then we're going to, and then there's other festivals that cannot announce right now, but we're going to New York or different places where we're going to show the movie in the next couple of months and hopefully more, right? So, and after that, we will look for a streaming service that would like
Okay.
to pick us up, and we'll promote that. And if you follow our page there, you'll see where you can go watch the movie.
Well, I will be sure to put the link in the show notes so people can connect with you and you
Thank you.
guys. And if you ever need a comedy writer, give me a call. I got the jokes. Better late than never. I thank you guys so much for taking the time to connect with me tonight here on Whiskey Sour Libations and Conversations, and sending you tons of love, healing, and comfort on your journey in the grief realm. And grief, girl. You can calm down a little bit, because some days you're like good and you smell coffee and then it'll remind you of something from 30 years ago, and now you're laid out on the kitchen floor. Be
Yeah.
kinder to us, okay, grief? But on that healing journey, check out El Lloron, and hopefully it soothes your heartstrings and sends you a lot of love and comfort. Thank you guys so much for your evening, and see you guys back here next week on Whiskey Soured.
Dom, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
You.
you.